So nearby Brad, it's just you and me today, Monfrere. We've both got something to drink. It's a seltzer, watching my weight. Summer, man. It's hot girl summer, let's go. Are you ready to talk about some dongs? As we've discussed on the channel before, the ancient Roman Emperor Elagabalus was an interesting individual, known for doing things like catapulting snakes into crowds of people and livening up his own parties by releasing live leopards into the room. Remember this all, Brad?
No.
None of this is... Really? Fuck's sake. Surprise leopard is not, like, jogging your memory?
Was it definitely one I was in?
Well, it was earlier. I think it's before Nisha and Lucas joined the channel.
I don't remember surprise
remember
leopard.
those days.
I remember umbrella leopard.
Umbrella? Oh, that was a good... That's even older, that. But anyway, during the course of that video, we may have mentioned that Elagabalus was obsessed with penises, but didn't get into too much detail. So allow us to remedy that mistake and spend the next 25 minutes talking about how much Elagabalus liked him some big swinging dongs.
I'd shower you with coconut cream pies.
So this is a ancestor of yours, right?
Well, I hope not, because okay, so we're not exactly going to be treading any new ground online by talking about the extent of the debauchery and brutality of ancient Roman emperors. It's inarguably the most popular subject people search for when it comes to figures in ancient Rome. And while Elagabalus isn't exactly as well known as Nero or Caligula in regards to his brutality towards his people, he's still got shit done. So we'll just cover a few of those, so all the people out there, those true crime podcast enthusiasts who want to hear about the awful things he did, those guys can be happy, and then we'll move on to the penises.
So why not just skip all of the, not throwing food at people or whatever? What's the worst thing he did?
Well, he used to just flay people alive and then dunk them into buckets of salt. Yeah, he would have his men kick people to death for his own amusement. He would...
I'd rather be kicked to death than flayed and dipped in salt.
Yeah, he would personally torture people to death with red hot pokers, inserted into areas I'd rather not mention. He would force his guests at his dinner parties to eat live parrots and or rocks, and if they didn't, would have his men disembowel them on the table and eat that instead.
What would you rather eat, a live parrot or a rock?
A live parrot, 'cause at least you've got a chance of eating a live parrot. Like a solid snake can do it, so a naked snake can do it, so can I.
My parrot is dead. What have you done? Disgusting.
And like I said, Caligula and Nero are far more well known for their brutality, but Elagabalus was no slouch in that regard. I think just to sum up, just the extent of his depravity and just the creativity with which he tortured people, he is known to have lit people on fire because slaves and Christians that were going to be crucified were more plentiful than candles.
Don't tread in those. Those are the guts of some people I had sacrificed earlier. Yeah, they're to tell the future.
So he would
I shouldn't laugh.
That's it. It's one of those things where it's so bad it goes all the way around into just being absurd and therefore funny. It's like when you hear about the stuff like Caligula and Nero did. Like, not even in regards to the stuff they do to hurt people, just the silly things they do because they were insane and no one could tell them not to. Like Nero, stabbing the ocean and stealing shells to say that he'd conquered Poseidon.
It's attacking again! It's retreating again!
That's just the tide going out!
Take that, you big wet wuss! See how I whip Poseidon!
Little things like that.
Not that I want to, let me think how I'm going to phrase it.
Okay. Brad's he's really, really tentatively stumbling over his words right now.
I don't condone using human beings as candles, but surely there's a better way than lighting them on fire.
But Lucas, not Lucas. But,
oh no! What? Oh.
No, it's because I recorded Wiki Weekend yesterday.
That's no excuse. We look completely. You're doing what the audience are doing.
Oh
now.
no, sorry.
I'm done.
No, start drinking yet. No, but Brad, if you've got Brad, if you've got a bunch of slaves that need killing, and you also need to light your gardens at night, why not burn 2 heretics with 1 torch? But I know there are people out there who are obsessed with that sort of thing. I used to write a lot of articles for a lot of websites, and here's just a little glimpse into the world of online content creation. The 3 topics that you can guarantee.
Can I guess?
Do you want to get? Okay, yeah. The 3 topics that you can guarantee are going to get more interaction and eyeballs on them than any others. Cover.
Sex?
Nope.
Oh.
Because they get demonetized, so therefore they don't place as highly in search rankings. So this video is going to do well.
War?
War specifically. Do you want to guess?
I'm guessing the World Wars.
World War II specifically, because people really like reading about the shit the Nazis did.
And then
That's 1.
Just, I mean, we're talking brutality, so torture?
Yeah, serial killers, torture, death, that sort of thing. And then the 3rd one is guns.
I was going to say food.
No,
That's what my priorities are.
So they're the 3
Sex
things.
and food.
So when I used to write for sites like Listverse, you get a bonus if you got like the most views in a month. So just write about World War II and you're gonna get that bonus every single time.
Are they views of people correcting you as well?
Well, that's the thing, I don't care. I don't care about the wearaboos, they can go fuck themselves. Well, let's now talk about Elagabalus's obsession with penises. And there's no way to put this that's not going to get me demonetized, so I'm just gonna say it. He liked dudes with big dicks. Like, really like dudes with really big, like 4-arm thick penises you could club a seal to death with.
So he wasn't a connoisseur of penises, he liked a specific type.
He was a size emperor, I think is the term that we can use today. And someone out there who knows like the origins of that term is like, I see what you did there, Karl.
I don't know.
You don't, but I say someone out there does. But yeah, he was a size emperor and he absolutely loved him, some big swinging dick. So much so, he made it known to his men that if they brought him a slave with a sizable member, they would receive a very handsome reward. So he had envoys whose literal only purpose was travelling the length and breadth of the Roman Empire looking for people with big dicks.
So the phrase size doesn't matter. In his world, you either end up being worshipped for having a massive dong or set on fire for not.
What's the thing though? He didn't set people on fire for not having a big dick. They were just like, Christians,
But
people who
he wouldn't set on fire the people who did have big dicks.
No, so yeah, you could save yourself from being executed if you had a big old dick, yeah. Because like,
I'd get burned.
That's it, Elagabalus. Like, hey, let us know in the comments if you get set on fire, because you've kind of jumped the gun a little bit here, Brad. But for anyone out there who is curious, since you've mentioned it now, what Elagabalus would do to someone who had a small penis, it's noted that if he encountered a slave or someone he was going to kill who had a particularly small member, he would have them stripped naked, beaten with reeds, and then would personally torture them to death with a red hot poker.
What's with this Speedo, Jeremy? It's too baggy. Is it a tandem Speedo for 2 men?
So he would punish people for not having a big one?
Well, if they had one that was like, so small that it would be noteworthy, and Elagabalus noticed, he would immediately put that person to death. Yeah. And he would do it in a very brutal manner, during which he would point and laugh at the dick. So it's like as if it wasn't bad enough you're getting tortured to death. Like you've got like the god kid emperor of Rome at the time, and like
I bet this is where the complex came from, where people are like, men are like, I need to have a big penis. It came from this one guy
who would just murder you.
The rumours spread around the empire.
Give me a bad score, I'll have you executed. So
I'm going to give him X out of X.
sweet. And I got you a doggy bag because I'm so generous.
Thank you.
It's an actual dead dog. I'm so random. Stay in touch, yeah?
So was his weird obsession with penises exclusively for people with big penises?
Pretty much, yeah. And he would do quite a lot to get his fix. Like I mentioned that he would send out envoys, specifically look for slaves with fat dicks. And he would cruise the bathhouses of ancient Rome, specifically to look for people with large penises, sometimes in disguise, sometimes not. And he would also go to brothels for the same reason, and sometimes he would prostitute himself to men who had particularly large penises. And in that vein, he also had a bathhouse constructed inside the Imperial Palace where the only requirements for entry were having a big dick.
I call it the Ass Pounder 4000, and it works like this.
What is big in his standards?
We don't know. Unfortunately, the descriptors of like what Elagabalus would do is not as explicit as we'd like. Not for that reason, but just for the sake of his accuracy. We just know that if it was larger than average, Elagabalus liked it, and he liked it a lot. And as mentioned, he would just go cruising for peen in ancient Rome. And it's noted that Elagabalus's love of men who were hanging trow, or I guess hanging toga, was such that if he couldn't get laid then and there, he would grab a bag of gold, strip off half naked, and stand in the window of the Imperial Palace, inviting people to have sex with him. So you could be walking around ancient Rome around the time of Elagabalus' rule and just see the Emperor himself stood at a window, be like, "Yoo-hoo! Come and get it, boys!"
When you feel an itch.
And something I feel compelled to mention is that Elagabalus ascended to the role of Emperor at about 14 years old. I think he died. Oh, not died, he was assassinated, sorry, at age 19.
Was it by a guy with a small penis?
No, he was stabbed to death in the bathroom. At which point his corpse was hung behind a chariot and dragged through the city. And then all of the people that he'd made Senate members were also killed. And Brad, would you like to guess? Would you just like to guess, with everything I've talked about today, what the criteria for being made a member of Elagabalus' Senate was?
Well, I mean, if we're going to go into the intricacies of politics, I'm guessing big penis.
Big penis, yeah. Like he would, like if you had a big enough dick, you could literally be made like a member of Elagabalus' Senate. And because of this, during Elagabalus' time as emperor, a cook, a blacksmith, and just a random soldier from the army ended up sitting on the Senate. And the joke I made in the Today I Found Out article I wrote about this, that goes into way more detail, is that they presumably spent all their time just sharing knowing smug looks. Like, we know why we're here.
Have you ever considered becoming a member of Parliament?
What would we want to do that for? It's full of pricks.
It's a little harsh. I'm an MP. Am I a prick?
Yes.
But just imagine that though, of like oh, how'd you get the job, big dick? Oh, okay.
Did he have a big one? Do we know?
That's the thing. I know that people out there want to know this, but they're afraid to ask. And I'm glad that you did, Brad, because Elagabalus, people may want to, I say. And I'm glad you asked that, Brad, because I bet there's a lot of people out there who want to know this as well, but are too embarrassed to write it in the comments. So, for everyone curious about the size of Elagabalus' own penis, it was very small, according to historical accounts. And the descriptor used is, it looked like a pickled sprout, whatever that means.
I don't think I've ever known anyone to pickle sprouts. Sprouts are bad enough on their own.
And Brussels sprouts are delicious when they're cooked perfectly, packed with texture. Trim the bottom and cut in half. Now give that a really nice little toss. And then just a squeeze.
And an interesting tidbit about Elagabalus is that he's one of the most prominent historical figures who may have been trans. Because Elagabalus often presented as a woman and even went to the lengths of asking like his surgeons and like imperial doctors, is there a way to give me a vagina so that I can consummate my marriage with one of my concubines? And do you want to guess why Elagabalus liked his concubine?
Did he have a big dick?
It's because he had a big dick, yeah. And during the wedding ceremony, rather than kissing his new husband on the lips, Elagabalus kissed him where, Brad?
On the penis.
Right on the dick. He whipped it out in front of everyone there and kissed him on the dick.
Ladies.
I'm assuming that this person's name was Biggest Dickus.
Well, it might have been Biggest Dick. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know the names of many of these people.
Because he's got Monty Python-esque fucking name as well. Like,
Elagabalus.
he said it's like balls.
Oh, that's the thing. We don't know.
Balls.
What about you? Do you find it visible? When I say the name, Dickus. Dickus.
We don't know like the names of many of these men, because I said a lot of them were just from like the lowest rungs of society, and they were thrust into the role of Senate member based purely on the size of their dick. And after Elagabalus was assassinated, they were similarly killed as well. And they were killed by being stripped naked, dragged behind a chariot, and then having a red hot poker shoved into their asshole.
So they got basically around about 5 years of good times, and then that.
Yeah.
That's not worth it, man.
It's not.
It's not.
Because that's the thing as well. Imagine like, you know, you try to hide, like, no, I'm just a regular member of the Senate. Whip it out. And you're like, no!
Oh. I don't know how I feel about this one.
That's the thing. So because like, you know, Elagabalus was a horrible, horrible human being. Like, you know, like the depths of his like debauchery and cruelty are almost unfathomable. But as mentioned, like, you know, because it happened so long ago and because the things he did were so extreme, they are kind of funny. Something I want to clarify for a lot of people at home is because we tend to get a lot of suggestions, and more suggestions than I'd like. Like, oh, cover this, like, you know, horrible tragedy, or cover this like serial killer. And you know, and for the most part, I would say we don't want to talk about that because death's not funny. So those people might be wondering why you're talking about this dude. It's like, 'cause it happened so long ago that I said, like, and it's so extreme that it does become like hilarious. The only thing you can do is laugh because it's so ridiculous. So it's not just that, like you said, he killed people. It's that he burned them alive because he wanted a candle. It was cheaper to burn someone than a candle because he had more slaves than he had candles in his house.
You'd think it would be easier for to burn the big dick ones as well because they've got their own wicks.
Well, they wouldn't know because he needed them. And it's like, I don't really know how to end this because I would ordinarily call Elagabalus a dick, but he'd probably like that. So I guess let's just all raise a drink to the fact that Elagabalus died screaming in agony, and that, like, you know, his last moments were spent cowering in a toilet before being roughly stabbed to death by the people who were sick of his shit. You almost made it, Brad. You almost made it. And as you mentioned at the start of this one, Brad, I really don't know how we're going to get this one monetized because, yeah, we talked a lot about penises. We can pull back the curtain on this like a little bit for people who maybe don't know. YouTube is a harsh mistress, and usually just mentioning anything to do with sex is enough to get a video completely demonetized worldwide. And that kind of sucks because I like talking about stuff like that. You know, I like talking about big swinging dicks. And if you would like to help us continue talking about big swinging dicks, even though we get demonetized, they can join the Patreon. Oh, do you see that, Brad?
See, the thing I'm concerned about is that before we filmed this video, we were talking about, what can we mention at the end? And I said, we should mention that every month we do a competition on the Patreon where somebody can win a free t-shirt.
Yes.
And this month's competition is to draw a picture of you.
Yes.
And you've segued into it by talking about giant penises. So are you trying to imply that you want all the artwork to contain you with a big swinging dog?
No, my name's Smallwood for a reason, Brad.
Yeah, but that's obviously a...
No, like, have you not read the comments, Brad? I'm called Smallwood. That's it, right? I don't care because I think, like, you know, as I've gotten older and, like, you know, been able to enjoy the company of women, my last name's been a blessing because, like, it's always a surprise. That's it. If I was called Bigwood, then it'd be worse, wouldn't it? Because there's an expectation there, isn't there?
What would be the worst something wood name?
Bigwood.
Humongo wood.
No, it's Bigwood because that's the thing. 'Cause then there's that expectation.
Titanic wood.
Titanic wood.
Mastodon wood.
Redwood. But no, it's like, it's always, you know, I'm always happy to be a surprise. And it's like, I have said that if the channel does die, like if the Patreon doesn't make enough money, if the channel doesn't make enough money, the last thing I'm going to do before I just, like, you know, stop making content and go do something else is I'm going to open an OnlyFans, take one dick pic and just, like, advertise it with, is it a small wood or not? And then whatever money that makes, I'm going to use to buy a bit of furniture in the house I'm going to buy with all the money from the channel. And that'll be, I bought that with my dick. So if I can afford a sofa or a chair or something like that, it's like whenever people sit on it, paid for it with my dick. But we've already mentioned there's a competition this month. But we didn't go into the full details there. So yes, if you join our Patreon at any tier, you can take part in a competition that'll be hosted in the Discord, where we, at the end of the month, we'll, like, you know, record a video of us reacting to all of the things that get submitted, and the things we're asking to be submitted this month is the drawing of me. I didn't get to choose this, because if I would have got to choose, I wouldn't have chosen drawing of me. But we don't want anyone to, like, be out there drawing, like, you know, like immaculate portraiture or something like that, because I think it was inspired by those pictures you see online of, like, oh yeah, who won the Draw a Frog competition this month? Remember? Winners are decided by vote. It's like this, like, photorealistic frog, and then just like.
Well, I think one of the only ones submitted so far is a stick man with a speech bubble that says "I like RoboCop."
Hey, that's the thing. That might win. It makes that so. I won't be looking at them, but Lucas will, and he'll, like, you know, collate them all at the end of the month. We'll record a video as reacting to them, and one that gets the biggest, almost genuine reaction will win a free T-shirt from the Psycho store. And you can win anything from there. You can pick our merch, you can pick some of their merch. It'll be provided free of charge. Like, Lucas will contact you if you are the winner, and we'll get you detailed. It'll be sent to you, like, you know, within 5 working days. And we have, like, you know, an example of a T-shirt right now.
Oh, it's got a hanger on it. I was going to throw it at you, but I don't want to.
Throw the hanger at me, let's go. So, for example, you could get, I think there's a couple of these left, isn't there, Brad? Like, you know.
I actually don't know.
I think there might be
merch isn't my area, I'm sorry. I'm shorts and compilations.
There we go, but there may be a few Knowledge Demon T-shirts left, in addition to all the stuff from the Psycho store there, like Arcana range, which my sister has almost every single one of, because the guys at Psycho are really nice, and every time I mention it, they send me free stuff in the mail. I tell them not to. I thought to send me an invoice. Like, no, it's fine. It's fine, Karl.
Why have I not been sent free stuff in the mail?
You've not asked. If you ask them, they might send
me
you
free stuff.
Hey, Psycho, send us some free stuff. No, we don't do that.
No.
But if you want free stuff, just join the Patreon and it'll be fun.
You also get a discount.
Oh yeah, but by joining our Patreon, you get a 10% discount on anything on the Psycho store. So if you are looking at something on their store right now, which I hope everyone does, everyone clicks the link to the Psycho store below and has a look. If you see something on there that you like the look of, just by joining our Patreon at any tier, you'll get 10% off it.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper to do that.
Yeah, it's cheaper to
join our
Patreon
Patreon at $1.
$1, buy something, get a 10% discount. And then, we get $1. How much does Patreon take again? It's actually one day I think we should do something like maybe on the side channel, do a full breakdown of like where $1 from each area we earn it from goes.
I think it'll be interesting to do a breakdown of all the money in general because, as I said recently, we had a short that went viral and it made like £100. And if a video went viral with the same views, it makes thousands.
Yeah, that might be something that would be worth doing because that's I feel a lot of people don't realise how much or how little certain things can earn. For example, we had a short that made 1.6 million views, made £100. But we've had videos in the past that had like 40,000 that have made a couple hundred.
I think the Fry ones made 6,000.
But then we've also had offers for sponsorship with offers of thousands and thousands of dollars for a 10,000 view video. We always turn them down because we rather just talk about what we want, such as penises and our merch.
The one time we tried.
I'm a terrible businessman. I think I worked it out once, and I'd be a millionaire if I sold out, and I was really upset. And then I thought to myself, but would I be happy? The answer is yes. Of course you would, because I have money, but you know what? That's besides the point. Cheers, everyone. Perfect.